So Patrick is joining us now.
The special guest.
Mr. Rain, my special guest again.
Best you can do, huh?
You're the only one that likes me enough to be a special guest.
Yeah.
So I know that somebody had questions on books.
Yes. Are you ready to?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm done with my topic.
Share the floor.
I think I'll share the floor.
So hello, Patrick from Rain Country. Anyway, we had somebody ask the other day what a good carpentry book was, and well, I haven't opened it up in a while, and I don't want to nullify or dilute the importance of having actually hands-on books, but this is a book that I do have. I have several different books that I can reference. So in the event that we don't have the internet or lose communications or whatever, at least you'll have resources out there. I just got on the internet and found this book on eBay for like $6, and they had 2 of them. And that's with free shipping. I don't know how that can happen.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So I think free they're shipping. Actually just giving them away. But, if you're like me, you like lots of pictures, tells you all about
notes.
Yeah, I think I had that in there actually from the last time I was in the book. But, tells you all about cripple studs and how to frame in a door and, trusses and all that good fun stuff. So I know there's a lot of books out there, but that's just the one that I have. So the individual who asked last week what I had for a carpentry book, well, that's the one I got. But yeah, I like to get on and look at YouTube and some of those other things, and talk to people, look how things are, just kind of walk around and see how things are built naturally. And if you don't have tools or whatever like that, it's kind of fun to go in there and watch some of these guys that go in there with a handsaw and a Leatherman or something like that, and and an axe and build something out of nothing.
Right.
But
that's a lot of work, though.
I'm trying to thwart that. I'm a little older. Hopefully, I'm a little bit wiser. Not much, but I like to think, well, let me get the toys that I need right now. And if they break down, at least I know how to do things by hand. We had one of our followers sent us this little book, which is useful. And what it does is it goes through and it tells you how to use some of the old hand tools, how to maintain them.
And Tyler's over here being a smart aleck.
Oh, I can imagine.
It's fun. We missed you last week.
Wait a minute. I can ban him, can't I? Let's see.
We need him. He's our comedy
relief. Hi, Tyler. So is Tyler being disruptive? Is he in trouble? Tyler, are you being behaving yourself?
Well, he'll agree with this. He said, I'm done roughing it and gone to smoothing it.
Yeah, amen. Also, I wanted to just go through the importance of having just basic how-to books. I went through my little library here and picked out just a couple of things. Here's a kind of a general, let's see, do-it-yourself manual. It talks about general carpentry and wiring.
Boy, it's got some little tiny words in there.
Yeah, you got to put your glasses on for this. But it goes through carpentry, some basic cabinet carpentry type skills and stuff like that. Different fastener types, different ways to fasten. Goes into some plumbing.
Who is the author of the tools book, the old one?
Alfred P. Morgan. And I have a furniture doctor. This one is also given to me.
Well, that thing's old.
Yeah, I had this in my finishing room. And it got spackled from something. Yeah. Anyway, usually when I go buy a piece of equipment, I try to print off the manual if I can. If it doesn't have like a good parts manual, So I get like a 3-ring binder and go online. And actually, this is a Wood Miser maintenance manual that I had put together. Wood Miser is really good about letting you have their stuff information wise. So the biggest thing I like is anything having to do with alignment and parts, because a lot of this other stuff you can kind of figure out on your own. But as far as getting the parts manual, I like getting the parts manual because you can get down and find out what you need and order it up. In particular, like with the Wood Miser, I went through and kind of made a list of different parts that I needed, or high wear parts like bearings, roller guides, blades, extra switches, up and down switches and forward and back switches, brushes for the lesser motors that run the mill back and forth and up and down. So I have a little stockpile or a squirrel away shelf for different parts for that mill in case, high wear points and different things like that. So I can go through and change things out, micro switches and things such as that. I like to get extra parts. Also, yes, if you are getting into like photovoltaic type stuff, different things like alternate energy, it's not a bad idea to get a book to kind of try to understand parallel circuits and Ohm's law and series parallel, what kind of things increase or decrease when you put things in parallel or series. So a lot of that kind of stuff we like to purchase. And one thing I was wanting to ask Tyler, because he's into ham radio, and we've mentioned this before, but I'm guilty for not following up with more of that kind of stuff. But I'm looking to, we got some little Bofang radios. I think about 4 of them.
Yeah.
I bought extra batteries for it, bought extra antennas for them, things that can kind of fall apart, break or whatever. And so what we want to do is get like a little base station. I'm looking at the Yaesu. I know Icom makes a good one, but Yaesu makes a 991 Alpha. And so I'm thinking about maybe getting that. Go big or go home, that kind of thing. But
he lost me too, Linda.
What's that?
You lost Linda.
Sorry, Linda. Where you at?
I'm lost too.
Find her.
On the manual thing, somebody did bring this up, but I did want to add that when it comes to manuals to anything, doesn't matter what it is, any of your appliances, sometimes, we try to keep those appliance manuals, but they get like 1 year, I had all of the appliance manuals, all of the manuals for his tools, my stuff, everything in a milk crate that I was keeping out in the shop. And he thought it was all trash and threw it out. And we didn't realize it until too late. It's probably my fault that I didn't make sure he knew that's where everything was.
Not all the manuals, but
a lot of them. And
I think that was a lot of older appliances.
A lot of it was older, but there was still stuff in there that we still needed the manuals for. And we went to find them like, oh no, that whole thing's gone. Well, what we did was for the stuff that we needed, you may be surprised to find out that you can go online, and I do it now while you're able to, and find manuals to any of your important equipment. If you've misplaced your manual, or if, like he was talking about, was Wood Miser and some of his other bigger tools, they may not come with, or especially if you bought it used, and you might not have all that stuff. You could go online and for free, a lot of times, be able to just download the manuals for various things. We did that with a lawnmower that we'd bought secondhand. We found the manual for it. So he was able to do some repair work using that manual. Or even the manuals that don't typically come with them, like like a lot of times you won't get the repair manual. You have to pay high dollar for it, but you might be surprised at what you can find online, either for free or really inexpensively. eBay is a good place to find like some of those, usually on a disc.
Yeah, that Carpenter book, a lot of educational type books. You go to buy them new and they're like hundreds of dollars. Matter of fact, I think one of the newer carpentry books there, they were like $130 or something. But carpentry really hasn't changed that much over the years. Some of the building materials, they change, and they can get a lot easier to use and stuff like that. But as far as the concepts and everything, not a whole lot's changed with carpentry. And so you can go on and get some older carpentry books. And like I said, that one, I mean, for $6, I can't see how they can ship it for that kind of money. As far as getting some tangible hands-on materials, is I bought a little South Bend lathe, and I got on, and about the first thing I tried to do, I got for like $300 at an estate sale. It had a bunch of tooling and stuff that went with it, so I thought that was pretty cool. But I got in there and bought a little renovation book, places where you can purchase different like rebuild kits and stuff for them, the wearable parts and whatnot. So I had one of the gears in there had a broken tooth. So I went on eBay and actually found one of those gears, and I haven't put it on it because I haven't really needed it. It's not like something I needed to do, but it was something like, I have another one of these gears break off, then maybe I'll want to have another gear so I can replace that one. But that's a good resource, how to run a wood lathe or how to run a metal lathe. And I got 2 books. So in the event that I ever need to, I'm in the process of building a water wheel right now. Don't know when I'll get that done. It all depends on time and everything, but I'm working on a water wheel right now to generate power on our off-grid piece of property. And so I may have to resource this at some time to fabricate a special part for that. I can get on there and buy bushings for like $9, $10 a piece right now. It's much more cost effective for me to purchase those rather than to try to fabricate them, because if it wasn't doing anything else, I could get on that metal lathe and build one. But I need 4. Yeah, I've built several little things on that little lathe. But anyway, and the last thing that I wanted to mention that folks might not be thinking about is detailed area maps of where you live. So in the event that you kind of needed to get out of Dodge, get some good topo maps. I got one here from the U.S. Forest Service, and I think I got another one from the DNR. This one from the DNR was free of our area. And so what you do is you get on there and you kind of look at the topography and different things, where water sources are and whatnot. I think that's also another good idea. And the last thing I wanted to say is talked about I think you might have mentioned that is get yourself some older books that talk about home remedies and what was the other thing I was thinking about? Firefox books. I don't know if you guys know about Firefox.
Is it
Foxfire? Yeah, Foxfire books.
Yeah, I've talked about those before. I've done a couple of videos where I show
old books like that talk about the old ways of doing things.
Right. Those were the Foxfire it's a compilation of different people that contributed to these books. I have a whole set. I bought a brand new set with all of the books in there. In fact, his dad knew some of the people that had contributed to that because his dad's from North Carolina.
Yeah, he's from Franklin, North Carolina, and he actually knew 1 or 2 of the people.
Right.
Actually, that were
a few of them. Sorry.
Worked out, actually were key in putting that together. And I don't remember who those people are, but that's the way he was raised back there, barefoot and dirt floors and raising your own food. So,
yep. I was just talking on a video recently. They recently published where they were using they used a spring house to keep the food cold through the year. So, because they have electricity.
And they also use a spring house to dry out wood. Believe it or not. Yeah. That just the flow of water going through those actually somehow draws the moisture out of it.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
My dad even mentioned that. He said it was hard times, but it was good times. Everybody had, everybody was the same. There was a guy that had a flatbed truck. I mean, it's just like you would see in some of these older movies, they wanted to go somewhere. They just went to the end of the road and
he was talking about going to church and they'd all go down there and pile in the back of the truck.
Pile in the back of the truck and off to church they went, and stuff like that. And I mean, it was a hard life, but it was a good life. It's not like what, we kind of get ourselves inundated with stuff and time and what everybody's doing and what everybody's saying. And, back then it's just, you had to work together. I mean, not like you didn't have enemies, but, the people just got along, got it done. They worked together and you just don't see that as much anymore.
I think one of the best ones I have out right now where I cover books on herbs, books on a few other topics, is called Building Your Preparedness Library. I don't think I mentioned the Foxfire books in there because I didn't have them yet, but at least if you want to go look that up. And then the other thing is looking at vintage books, just like some of the ones that Patrick has. I have some great vintage books. When it comes to cookbooks and more, I prefer the vintage books because they were actually making stuff from scratch, not like, take a can of this soup from the store, Campbell's soup, this and this Jiffy cornbread. And
you got 2 ingredients.
You actually make stuff from scratch. And those are the kind of cookbooks you need to look for. And any of that kind of stuff. So vintage and antique books, I think are just, for a lot of things, or kids' books. Somebody mentioned earlier about a bunch of books getting dumped off somewhere. Well, like the schools are constantly getting rid of older books and bringing in the junk, right? So several years ago, my sister-in-law brought up a whole bunch of vintage books, and some of them were near antique that the school had in that area they just got rid of them. They're great kids' books, great readers and more. And I took a bunch of them. I'm like, these are great.
Right.
And even though by that point, my kids were kind of outgrown some of them, I knew that one day I'd have grandbabies. And now we have number 4 on the way. So having these books has been great. So don't forget the kids when you're talking about, even if your kids are grown, don't forget someday you may have grandkids or other kids that you're looking after. Get some good kids books.
And get some good entertainment books too. I mean, that's, after a while you probably get to go stir crazy if you don't have any other ways of communication or
board
entertainment.
Games.
Get board games and get books that are just entertaining as well.
Yeah, right.
Like I focus too much. I'm too practical. I focus too much on technical books.
Yeah, I do have some books that are just for pleasure reading kind of books, but I don't have time for that. I had time for that in a long time.
Right.
But anyway, so we should probably get off here. It has actually been plenty long. And I do appreciate Patrick coming in and joining us and sharing his books. So thanks to my moderators for being here and watching out for us and, hammering people with a wrench if they needed it, though I don't think anyone in my chat ever has so far. But at least you're there and you're ready. I appreciate it. And for everyone that came in and saying hi and all your likes and your comments and all the other things and just supporting us and just being there. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a great community and I'm very, very thankful to all of you and to our Heavenly Father for being able to have this outreach going both ways, because
Right.
you guys are a blessing to us too.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
anyway, thanks for being here, everyone. Take care and God bless.